Yef one day decides he's going to set out to disprove Christianity. So he makes a video about James chapter 5, where it says that if a man is sick and the elders pray for him, that man can be healed. Yef makes a challenge and says that since no elder can pray to physically heal a man, Christianity is not true.
Unfortunately, that's the way reality works. When the foundation of your religion, which is your holy book, makes falsifiable claims, that means your religion is false.
When we look at the passage, we actually see that the illustration used from Elijah's life points to spiritual healing, not physical.
He's pointing to verse 18 that says, "Then Elijah prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth bore its fruit." That has nothing to do with spiritual healing or spiritual idolatry. It's about rain and plants. And the context is about the power of prayer to do wonderful things, like cause it to rain or stop it from raining or healing the sick.
And so when it was pointed out to Yef that the word for sickness here doesn't necessarily mean physical sickness, but also spiritual idolatry.
Unfortunately, I have a screenshot of what you actually said. You said that word used there in James always means spiritual idolatry. And I said you were wrong, and I can prove it.
Yef responded. And Yef said, this word's used 36 times and it never refers to spiritual idolatry. You are a liar.
Now let's look at the reference material and not expect anyone to just believe what we say. The Greek word under consideration is astheneo, G770. It means to be weak, feeble, or without strength, powerless. To be weakened means to be needy or poor, to be feeble or sick. It's used 36 times, most often translated as weak or sick, and the Strong's definition is to be feeble in any sense, to be diseased. Now let's look at how this word is used in the Bible. Matthew 10:8, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. That is talking about physical sickness, not spiritual idolatry. Matthew 25, Jesus says, I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. That does not mean spiritual idolatry. Mark 6, whenever he entered into villages or cities or the country, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might just touch the hem of his garment, and as many as touched him were made well. That is obviously physically sick, not spiritual idolatry. Luke 4, when the sun was setting, all those who had any that were sick with various diseases brought them to him, and he laid his hands on every one of them and healed them. I expect to see your public video apology for lying to the people. Let's add John to the party. John chapter 5. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. Verse 7. The sick man answered him, Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, but while I am coming, another steps down before me. John 6. Then a great multitude followed him, because they saw the signs which he performed on those who were astheneo, or sick and diseased. And in John 11, Lazarus was not only physically sick, he was physically dead. And to further demonstrate my integrity, let's look at how astheneo is used to reference something other than physical sickness. In Acts 20:35, I have shown you in every way by laboring like this that you must support the weak, astheneo, and remember the words of the Lord Jesus that he said, it is more blessed to give than receive. This is talking about helping the physically needy and poor. It has nothing to do with spiritual idolatry. Romans 4 is talking about Abraham saying that he was not weak in the faith. You see, astheneo always means weak or sick. And they had to add the clarifier that they're talking about being weak in faith to indicate what type of astheneo or what type of weakness they're talking about. You can see in Romans chapter 8 and 14 that astheneo simply means weak, but they add clarifiers to indicate whether they're talking about being weak in the flesh or weak in the faith. This is why I have thousands of followers, because I don't lie to people.
Shout out to knowing what you're talking about, I guess.